All right, it's 5 o'clock. Let's bring to order the, what is today, November 17th Nickel Plate Review Committee. Kay, would you like to do roll in a second? Sorry.
Thank you. Ms. Stoller.
Here.
Ms. Nieves.
Here.
Am I close?
You're up.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson.
Here.
And Ms. Bowman.
Here.
Thank you.
I would just say as a general staff reminder to make sure everyone turns on their microphones. Just a friendly reminder, these meetings are live streamed, so we need to make sure that they are turned on.
All right, our first and only thing on the agenda today is case number NPR-21-3 Parks Place Pub.
Hello, my name is Andrew from the Planning Department, and I don't think I've presented to you before. I've sat in a few of these, but this is the first time we get to talk. So yes, before you tonight is NPR-21-3, which is a requested approval for a pergola structure for the Parks Place Pub. So you might be familiar with where the Parks Place Pub is located. It's out here right behind me in the depot. It's in the former Bricks Pizza location, right in that corner, highly visible prime location. With us tonight is Matt Schluter, Ross, who's with the Smart Pergola, and then their general contractor, and all of them are available to answer questions, and I believe they brought some samples as well. So what we're talking about is a pergola. It's called a Smart Pergola. But essentially it is a structure, so this is kind of a top-down view. It's not the greatest view. This is probably more appropriate. It is about 67 feet long, it's 18.5 feet deep, and it's about 10 feet high. So what they're wanting to do is improve the outdoor dining currently at that space. So if you know from having driven by or walked by, there's currently a fence that kind of meanders out a little bit. And you know, they only really have dining out there maybe half of the year. They really want to activate this space year round. They want to make this a better outdoor dining area. And then their hope is that that also helps the success of their business, because we know that the previous tenant had kind of a hit or miss staying downtown. And I don't think they utilized their outdoor dining area to the fullest extent, and Parks Place doesn't believe they did either. So what a Smart Pergola is, and they can explain it probably more in depth than I can, it's an aluminum frame structure like you see here, and then the roof of the structure has slats, and these slats are movable. So during the summer on a nice day, the slats can be opened. You can barely see it in that rendering, but the slats can be opened and you can actually look up and get more airflow. So here's an example image that I'll touch on in a minute, but as you can see, these slats are open. They have ceiling fans underneath, but as you can also see, they have heaters, and that's because in the winter, these slats can be closed. So this is a rendering of what that would look like, and it basically creates a water, from what I understand, a watertight or fairly water-resistant covering, so that they can close those if it's raining in the summer and have open sides, or in the wintertime, they can close the top as well as enclose the sides and basically make it an extension of their inside dining room. This structure does encroach into the sidewalk, just like the current dining area, but the current dining area actually encroaches more than this will. So this will reduce the amount that it sticks out into the sidewalk. It'll open the sidewalk up a little bit more, and we believe it'll help increase the circulation for pedestrians. However, we're reviewing this against the Nickel Plate Code. The Nickel Plate Code is really written for buildings, for doing an entire building review, and a lot of the architectural standards don't neatly apply to small additions like this, small structures. In the past, we've seen some similar things, like at Fort A. Ray, they have kind of a frame. They don't have a roof on it, but they've got that pergola frame. We've reviewed those as part of the entire building in the past. The depot being the first, large mixed-use building we did under the Nickel Plate Code. It's 6 going on 7 years old now, and we're probably going to be seeing more of these kind of reinvestments or reimagining of areas that we approved 6 or 7 years ago. So because of that, the code requires certain things that really can't be met by a structure like this. So for example, we're requesting 3 major waivers from the code that really covers about 4 standards. One of those is materials. So the nickel plate code does not allow metal as a building material. Well, if you're looking at the structure standalone, it is metal, that's all it is. But it is attached to a probably 90-some% masonry building. So when you look at the building that it's attached to as a whole, it does meet that standard, but a real literal interpretation as just an aluminum structure, no, it does not meet that standard. So we're asking for a waiver from that. Another standard that we need a major waiver from is for the building design. The facade articulation, usually we require planes of the building to push in or pull out. Again, that doesn't really apply to a small structure like this, and the building it's attached to does have that articulation. But again, if we're looking at only the structure, it doesn't meet that standard. It also doesn't meet our standard about having a defined base, middle, and top of the structure, because again, it's just a one-story frame. And again, the building it's attached to does meet those standards. And then the last major waiver is for the dimensional standards, and that would be the encroachment into the sidewalk. So we don't allow any encroachment at all. And again, this structure, most of the structure will encroach. It is about 18.5 feet deep. I believe the encroachment is probably somewhere in the order of 10 or 12 feet. I don't have that exact number, but we are working with Public Works and the Department of Engineering on this. So regardless of tonight's approval, or potential approval, going forward, we will be working with Public Works and make sure that they either have a right-of-way encroachment permit or some other agreement with the city that again protects us, because they are using part of our right-of-way, part of our sidewalk. So we will, pursue a finalized agreement. Public Works did a preliminary review and they didn't have any concerns. So it's really just a formal thing on our end. But I wanted to let you know that that is also a standard of the nickel plate code. So because we think that this will help increase the use of the outdoor area, we think it's really an improvement over just having a fence with some tables inside of it. It's going to be less wide than that fence, so it'll increase circulation. And we also think it's a quality investment in the depot, in the downtown. So we do recommend approval of the design of the structure, as well as all those, the 3 major waivers. That is based on the condition that staff comments will continue to be addressed by the applicant, and that there will be a subsequent approval of that right-of-way encroachment. So like I said, Matt with Parks Place Pub is here. Ross has some material samples, and they'll be able to answer any questions you might have. Thanks.
Anybody have commentary from the committee?
Can you tell us a little bit more about the materials as far as rust or maintenance of the materials, just as far as longevity?
Sure, come on up.
These are the louvers. That is the actual color of the structure that we're proposing, and that is of the louvers in the structure. And this is the color of the structure itself, so the darker black. But everything is powder coated aluminum, so there's no maintenance with it. The aluminum can't rust like steel product could. The paint is chemically applied, so you're basically just treating it as you would a car. You don't have to repaint the car, you don't have to repaint this, as opposed to a standard pergola. Plus, you can't heat it and it can't dry out for a few years. So, basically, with a pressure washer or something like that, you dirt off and it's as new, same way with a car.
Okay.
My question, what is current capacity and what will be the new capacity if this is approved?
Matt, do you have that?
Rough, give or take, rough estimate.
I think right now it's fire code, 135 fire code right now inside. This would approximately add about 50, 60 seats. Right now, the way we have it set up is about 50.
Okay.
So this would probably be about 50 or 60 more.
Thank you.
My question is, let's just say I've received some emails from your neighbors above. We're adding more people here. I know you've probably been working on them with this. I guess what I want, is an assurance that, with that many more people in there, especially, on busy nights, summer nights, these people, I have a little bit of sympathy for them, but a lot of it says, you should have known that there's gonna be businesses down there.
Yeah, well, when they moved in, it was a pizza place, right?
Yeah.
And now it's, more of a bar restaurant. And we have been working hard with the depot to try to alleviate their concerns. And this is the next step, right? So
Okay.
we're installing, not to get off topic, but more acoustic tiles in the ceiling. We're doing a lot of things. This, we believe, will help because when there is live music and stuff like that, now we can put the vinyl siding down and have it enclosed. The louvers we can close, where, one of the complaints is not necessarily music all the time, it's just people being on the patio and talking.
Yeah.
So for us to be able to have a structure that we can close people in, when it's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, should really help with the noise.
Yeah, and that's, like I said, that's my main concern. I do like the idea of having this because I do think, will help your business and stuff because we have had issues with businesses there in the past. So do want to help out with the success of it. I just want to be cognizant of the neighbors that are above. And
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that you're working with them on that. So, I think I'm pretty much in favor of this. He had a question, the siding on the outside, what type of material
talking
is that
about that.
that comes down?
It's just vinyl, right?
Just
I'll let you take
like
it.
a vinyl?
It's a clear vinyl window with, it's a little bit difficult to see there, 1933 because of the planters, but there's a solid vinyl at the base. So as you look through, you don't see people's legs under the tables. You'd see a solid border about railing height, and then it'd be clear window above that.
So the vinyl would be, you could lift it or bring it down, but the base, would that be a permanent?
So
It's a permanent section of that retractable.
Okay,
It would
so
ride
it
up and down.
retracts with the
Yes,
vinyl, otherwise
exactly.
it'll just be walk-in in,
Right, so in
flat.
the nice summer months, you see nothing at all but the posts. Through the winter months, you'd see that solid border at the base and then the window, and then there's a little bit more of a border at the top.
okay. So this is 1933, right?
Correct.
So it's really gonna be very similar to what they have.
Extremely, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think this one is about like a 2/3 or 3/4 size of the one that Parks Place will have.
Yeah,
It's
smaller
about a-
version.
Yeah.
So Parks Place is what we refer to as a 6-zone pergola. It's got 6 different sections of it that open and shut. This one is 3. So
Okay.
from that perspective, it's about half scale. The color on that one is a dark bronze, whereas this would be a black, so it's slightly darker. But the clear vinyl is exactly the same. We can have the pergola manufacturer ship their powder to the screen manufacturer, so that's an exact match. It's done with the same powder. So you don't notice a difference between where the screen track system starts and where the post system ends. Yeah, the vinyl would be exactly the same like that.
And you guys will be able to utilize this not just in winter, but let's say if it's rain, you can still bring these down, still have outdoor
You
outdoor
could.
dining and.
That's the advantage to a retractable, is you're about 90 seconds away from having it enclosed at any given time. So if there is rain, you can shut your louvers and drop your sides within about a minute and a half, 2 minutes.
Good deal.
It stays dry underneath. So, and then it doesn't have an R value, but by virtue of stopping wind, you have the ability to heat it. I was in there on Valentine's Day a couple years ago when there was a single-digit wind chill, and they were seating that patio
So you maximize your capacity every night versus.
tremendously.
Yeah.
I mean, as a server, your huge advantage is your livelihood is not dependent on the weather anymore. You don't need to come to work and wonder if you're going to have 25 tables or 3 because it might rain that day. If it rains, they enclose the patio and you can still work. So. huge advantage to the wait staff that way.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
I know I've sat in that exact patio many times, so. Any further commentary? Do I have a motion?
Move to approve?
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it's approved.
Awesome, thank you.
Very much.
Thank you.
Hang on, down at nickel plate review. Motion to adjourn.
I'll second it, or I guess I can second that,
Second.
right? All right, meeting adjourned.